49ers faithful? Let's dive right into all the latest developments surrounding our San Francisco 49ers. There's a lot to unpack this week, from roster moves to injury updates, and some intriguing strategies that could shape the team's performance in the upcoming games. First off, the team made another round of linebacker changes, something that's affectionately been called the linebacker carousel by insiders. Eric Kendricks has been promoted to the active roster, while Thun lands on injured reserve, which fits the pattern we've seen throughout the season. Kaiser White joins the practice squad, a move that makes sense given the open practice window for Jacob Cowing, who we discussed recently. Meanwhile, Milo Eifel has been signed to a reserve/future contract, a concept that might confuse some fans, but is essentially a way to secure a player's rights for the next season without affecting the current roster. Milo's signing is interesting because it shows the 49ers' willingness to explore talent that may not contribute immediately but could be impactful down the line. He's logged just 300 snaps on special teams over 4 seasons, yet the team clearly saw potential during his recent tryouts alongside Kaiser White. This move echoes previous examples in the league where undrafted free agents have emerged seemingly out of nowhere to make significant contributions. A parallel could be drawn to Nate Landman, who spent time on practice squads and special teams before establishing himself as a key linebacker with the Los Angeles Rams. The lesson here is that the 49ers are keeping an eye on the future, testing players with upside, even if they aren't immediate game changers. Turning to injuries, there are some updates that fans should note. Ricky Pierce did not practice again, and Trent Williams also sat out today's session. Kyle Shanahan clarified that Pierce aggravated his PCL injury during the Bears game, offering some insight into the challenges he's facing. Although Pierce participated in light practices last week, the team seems to be handling his workload carefully. Meanwhile, players like Utros Matz, George K.D., and Luke Ford practiced in a limited capacity. Ford participation is particularly encouraging, as he has proven to be an influential linebacker on the defense when called upon. While not the flashiest player, he has consistently stepped into critical roles, and his availability is a positive sign for the team's depth heading into important matchups. Jacob Cowing continues to show promise during practice, demonstrating his speed and explosiveness, though Kyle Shanahan has indicated he is unlikely to be activated this week due to months without proper practice. The team may not need him immediately, but monitoring his development remains essential. Brock Purdy has been receiving praise for his ability to execute the offensive scheme and make plays outside the structure when necessary. Former NFL voices have highlighted how Purdy extends plays and keeps offenses alive, making adjustments on the fly in ways that often go unnoticed. His versatility allows the 49ers to adapt even when key players like Christian McCaffrey face limited touches or when the defense manages to slow down primary options. Speaking of McCaffrey, questions arose regarding his usage in the recent games, particularly the limited number of carries. Understanding the dynamics of Kyle Shanahan's offense is key here. When the team starts a game behind, the running game is naturally constrained, forcing a heavier reliance on passing and quick reads. This situational approach can make it seem like McCaffrey isn't being utilized effectively, but it's really about the system adjusting to defensive schemes and game circumstances. To maximize his impact, the offense needs to be consistent across all phases, from the offensive line holding blocks to receivers stretching the field and creating space for running backs to exploit. Depth, timing, and creativity in play calling all influence how many opportunities a player like McCaffrey receives, which means the solution is never simple or isolated. The broader point is that football operates as a system, and every element, from line protection to route execution to individual athleticism, affects outcomes. For example, when the offensive line struggles to buy time, play-action passes lose effectiveness, and even dynamic running backs like McCaffrey face limitations. Similarly, precision in hot routes, timing, and decision-making under pressure can determine whether a play results in a gain or a stall drive. Observing the recent game against the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers faced these exact challenges. Limited rushing success early forced the team to rely on more aggressive passing plays, often under duress, highlighting the importance of execution and adaptability at every level. It's also worth noting the importance of perspective when evaluating the team's performance. Fans often fall into extremes, either pessimistic due to a tough loss or overly optimistic based on previous successes. Season-end statistics and broader trends remind us that individual games are snapshots, not the full story. Vic Fangio's commentary on Brock Purdy and the offense reinforces this perspective, emphasizing consistent execution over isolated results. Fangio points out that elite players make adjustments beyond structured plays, and this adaptability can offset what may appear as struggles on the surface. The key takeaway is that the Niners' current roster, despite challenges and injuries, remains well-constructed and capable of overcoming adversity if the system functions as intended. From a tactical standpoint, creating opportunities for McCaffrey and other skill players requires attention to detail and creativity in offensive scheming. Stretching defenses with wide receivers, executing precise screens, and leveraging play action are all part of a holistic approach to maximizing talent. When any piece of the system falters, whether it's blocking, timing, or decision-making, the ripple effect impacts the running game, passing options, and overall offensive efficiency. In practice, this means the team must maintain focus on fundamentals while also being flexible enough to adapt mid-game. The contrast between successful games and those where the offense struggles often comes down to these nuances rather than the individual abilities of stars like McCaffrey or Purdy. Even with these complexities, there are promising indicators. Luke Ford's limited practice is a positive sign, suggesting he remains healthy enough to contribute. Brock Purdy's ability to extend plays provides a dynamic element to the offense, keeping defenses guessing. And the 49ers' continued exploration of talent like Milo Eifel demonstrates forward-thinking roster management. Collectively, these factors highlight a balance between short-term execution and long-term development, an approach that is essential in sustaining competitiveness throughout the NFL season. Ultimately, what we're seeing is a team navigating the challenges of injuries, roster moves, and situational adjustments while maintaining a vision for the future. Christian McCaffrey's touches, Brock Purdy's improvisational ability, and the development of emerging players all intersect within the structure of Kyle Shanahan's system. The focus remains on execution, adaptability, and cohesion, rather than isolated performances. Fans may react strongly to individual games, but understanding the broader context of the season, how players, strategy, and preparation come together, is crucial to appreciating the Niners' trajectory. The interplay between these elements determines success in close contests, particularly against defensively strong opponents like the Philadelphia Eagles or Seattle Seahawks, where every detail counts and execution under pressure is paramount. Continuing from where we left off, let's shift focus to the nuances of offensive performance and the small but crucial decisions that shape the outcomes of each game. One key element is how the 49ers manage the balance between the passing game and the rushing attack, particularly when facing elite defensive fronts. The offensive line plays a pivotal role here, as even slight delays in protection or miscommunications can disrupt timing and force quarterbacks into hurried throws. This is where Kyle Shanahan's system, which relies on timing and rhythm, either flourishes or falters. When a line holds, play action becomes a devastating weapon, opening lanes for receivers and giving running backs like Christian McCaffrey space to exploit. When it doesn't, the quarterback is under pressure almost immediately, forcing quick decisions and reducing the overall effectiveness of the offense. We saw this dynamic clearly against the Seahawks, where early struggles in the rushing game forced the offense into a reactive mode. Instead of dictating the pace, the Niners found themselves playing catch-up, leading to a heavier emphasis on passing and situational reads under pressure. This isn't a reflection of player talent, but rather of game flow and defensive execution. Christian McCaffrey's limited carries weren't due to a lack of ability, but a consequence of how quickly the defense adjusted to the Niners' strategy. When the run game isn't functioning optimally, Shanahan adapts by increasing the number of quick passes, screens, and RPOs to try to maintain offensive balance. This is where coordination and chemistry across the offensive unit are vital, as timing between the quarterback, linemen, and receivers determines whether these adjustments succeed or fail. Another critical factor is the role of receivers and skill position players in creating options for the quarterback. Wideouts like Juwan Jennings and up-and-coming threats, such as Sky Moore, bring different dimensions to the offense, stretching defenses vertically and horizontally. When executed effectively, these routes force defenders to hesitate or take risks, opening running lanes and enabling McCaffrey to gain extra yards after contact. This combination of speed, agility, and timing is precisely what makes the 49ers offense multifaceted and difficult to defend when every piece functions in harmony. Conversely, when there is hesitation in route execution or miscommunication in hot reads, the system loses its edge, as we've occasionally witnessed. The difference between gaining 5 yards or 0 can hinge on split-second decisions, highlighting how even small details are magnified in high-level NFL competition. Injuries and player availability continue to shape the team's strategy. While Brock Purdy's agility and improvisational skill give the offense flexibility, limited practice for players like Luke Ford underscores the importance of depth. Ford has consistently proven he can step up when called upon, offering the team reliable linebacker support and special teams contributions. Maintaining these depth options is crucial, especially as the season progresses and the physical toll mounts. Injuries to key offensive or defensive players can force unexpected rotations, creating opportunities for newer players to emerge, similar to what we discussed with Milo Eifel. These roster strategies are a mix of long-term planning and short-term necessity, allowing the Niners to manage both present challenges and future potential. When evaluating individual performances, context is everything. Christian McCaffrey, for example, often becomes the focal point for discussions about offensive production. Limited touches in certain games have led some fans to question his effectiveness, but a deeper look reveals the intricacies of Shanahan's offense. Defensive schemes, down-and-distance situations, and the performance of the offensive line all influence how many opportunities a running back receives. In games where the line struggles or the team falls behind early, McCaffrey's opportunities naturally decrease, forcing him to rely on quick bursts or short passes rather than sustained runs. This interplay illustrates how a player's statistical output may not fully capture their impact, emphasizing the importance of understanding the broader system and game context. Looking ahead, strategic adjustments will be key as the Niners prepare for high-stakes matchups. The team's ability to integrate emerging talent while maintaining consistency among veterans will determine whether they can capitalize on opportunities and limit mistakes. Coaches must balance creative play calling with disciplined execution, ensuring that aggressive moves do not compromise fundamental principles. This balancing act extends across all phases, from offensive line protection to receiver routes to timing-based quarterback reads. Each element is interconnected, and success depends on cohesion rather than isolated skill. When all components align, the offense can dominate. When even a single piece falters, defenses can exploit the disruption, leading to stalled drives or turnovers. The psychological aspect of the game also cannot be overlooked. Players' confidence, trust in teammates, and ability to adapt under pressure shape outcomes as much as physical talent. Confidence influences how receivers run routes, how quarterbacks make reads, and how running backs like McCaffrey attack defenders. Similarly, trust in the coaching staff schemes enables players to execute complex plays under stress. This mental component is particularly important in high-pressure matchups against teams like the Philadelphia Eagles or Seattle Seahawks, where defensive pressure is relentless and mistakes are magnified. Maintaining composure and executing with precision under these conditions differentiates elite teams from the rest. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers around the league are growing louder, and the name at the center of the storm is DK Metcalf. In a season defined by shifting power and unanswered questions, a bold rumor has begun to circulate. Seattle's loss of direction could be San Francisco's unexpected treasure. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Seahawks may be watching their most explosive weapon slip away at the very moment their rivals are positioning themselves for a new offensive era. The speculation paints a dramatic picture. Metcalf, a physical marvel with rare speed and strength, is being linked to the 49ers in what some insiders are already calling the biggest steal the league has ever seen. The idea alone feels almost unfair. Placing a receiver of his caliber into an offense already known for creativity and balance would instantly tilt the chessboard. Defensive coordinators will be forced to choose between loading the box, bracketing the middle of the field, or daring to leave Metcalf isolated on the outside. A gamble few would survive. From Seattle's perspective, the rumor carries a bitter edge. The Seahawks appear to be entering a transitional phase, and there is quiet talk that internal uncertainty could open the door to a shocking move. Losing a player who symbolizes their offensive identity would be more than a roster change. It would signal a philosophical reset. Fans are uneasy, wondering how a franchise known for resilience could allow such a scenario to even be imagined. In Santa Clara, however, the mood is entirely different. The mere possibility of Metcalf arriving has ignited conversations about an offense that could become unstoppable. His presence would stretch the field vertically, create space underneath, and turn routine plays into highlight reel moments. Analysts speculate that this single addition could redefine matchups across the conference and shift long-term expectations. For now, it remains just that, a rumor. No confirmation, no official word, only the growing belief that something seismic could be unfolding. If it happens, history may remember this moment as the point when one franchise hesitated and another seized an opportunity that changed everything. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.